Welcome. My name is Brittany Elias, and I'm the assistant stage manager of our musical.
And I'm Jenna Krause. First, I would like to thank Nelson Wire Rope for helping us create our trick kites. Also, unfortunately, our stage manager is losing her voice, but we are here to welcome you to our performance of Mary Poppins.
At the end of the first act, there'll be a 15-minute intermission during which refreshments and merchandise can be purchased.
The intermission is also a time at which you can use your phones, but you should silence at this time and not use during the show.
Their glow would be distracting to those behind you, and speaking of distractions, if you have any snacks, please unwrap them now.
We don't want any disruptions as we travel to London in the year 1910, specifically Cherry Tree Lane, where the residents are...
Savages! Oh, yes, hello. Where's the way out of here? No. I mean, out of my job! Never mind!
If you too must leave, be cautious. Actors will be walking in the aisles and in front of the stage. Therefore, please clear those areas of items so it is safe for the performers.
And please note that for legal reasons, no method of recording is allowed during the production. You are welcome to take as many photographs as you would like and communicate with cast and crew after the finale.
In fact, after the show, the lively residents of Cherry Tree Lane will be signing autographs down the hall near the restrooms.
Kids can pick up their very own Mary Poppins autographed kite during intermission and get it signed by their favorite characters after the show.
So without further ado,
please silence your phones,
unwrap your snacks,
wrangle your children,
sit back,
relax,
and enjoy
our production of Mary Poppins.
In the east, there's a mist coming in, like something is brewing, about to begin. Can't put me finger on what lies in store, but I feel what's to happen, all happened before. A father, a mother, daughter, a son, threads of their lives all unraveling undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as a string you might use when you're flying a kite. Chim chimani chim chim chiree chim charoo.
Hurry up, Jane! Let's run! Come back here, you little blinder! You've got to do your lesson!
Well, I can't do my lesson if I'm flying a kite. And you can't make us. You're only our nanny.
Boy! Not you two again. Come along home now. Come on.
Good morning, Bert.
Morning, Mrs. Locke. How was it at Willoughby today?
Oh, very well. Thank you, Bert.
Like I spy on the horizon.
Oh, Admiral.
Morning, Admiral. How's it looking today?
Dark clouds gathering over number 17. Storm warnings overdue.
Of all London's byways where I doff me cap, this one's the hardest to find on the map. Cherry Tree Lane, as sweet as a song, But the nannies who stay, they don't stay for long. Chim chimani, chim chim, chiri chim charoo.
Katie Nana! Katie Nana! Those little beasts have run away from me for the last time! And who gets stuck with the children with no nanny in the house? Me! That's who! I've had my say, Mrs. Brill, and that's all I'll say! I'm done with this house forever! Well, good riddance then! Mind you don't stumble on your way out! Katie Nana! Oh, where are you going, Katie Nana? Katie Nana's gone, and is it any wonder? Driven half demented by your children's pranks. Do you really think I made another blunder? What on earth am I to say to Mr. Banks? George, dear, I'm feeling so briefed, dear. Another nanny's left, dear. Every nanny goes, we're unlucky, I suppose. We are never going to find the perfect nanny.
Nonsense! Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain, whilst I remain the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane. Coat, the simple truth is you've engaged 6 nannies in the last 4 months, and they've all been unqualified disasters. A nanny should govern, a nanny should rule. A nanny is a paragon who suffers no fool. A nanny's a stalwart our children would gain by having such a nanny in Cherry Tree Lane.
Of course, George, but...
So take control of situations. Show your authority when interviewing staff. They know their role, you know their station. Efficiency and forethought cut the jobs in half. Briefcase.
I thought Katie Nana would be fair with the children. She always looks so cross.
Winifred, never confuse efficiency with a liver complaint. Umbrella?
If only we could find someone like your old nanny.
I'm afraid that's not realistic, my dear. Few women alive can manage Miss Andrews' standards of efficiency. Besides, we could never afford someone of her caliber.
Precision and order, he wants nothing less.
It's like an army barracks.
Yes, and we're in the mess. No wonder the nannies are driven insane. We're living in a madhouse in Cherry Tree Lane.
Now, Winifred, if you do want to please me...
You know I do, George.
Very well. Then put an advertisement in the Times stating that Jane and Michael Banks require the best possible nanny at the lowest possible wage.
We'd better get a mask before they make another mistake.
I would stress that...
Oh, it's that you're holding, dear?
We've written our own advertisement.
What on earth?
George, please, I think we should hear it.
Now, Winifred, none of your theatrics.
Won't hurt to listen.
Wanted a nanny for 2 adorable children.
Adorable. That's debatable, I must say.
If you want this choice position, have a cheery disposition, rosy cheeks, no warts. That's the part I put in. Play games, all sorts. You must be kind, you must be witty, very sweet and fairly pretty.
Well, of all the ridiculous...
George, please.
Take us on outings, give us treats, sing songs, bring sweets, never be cross or cruel, never feed us castor oil or gruel. Oh, love us as a son and daughter, and never smell a bully water. I put that part in too. If you won't scold and dominate us, we will never give you cause to hate us. We won't hide your spectacles so you can't see. Put toads in your bed or pepper in your tea. Very
Michael. Thanks.
That's quite enough Tommy rot for one day. Now, will you please go upstairs and let me get to work?
They were only trying to help.
It won't help anyone to make me late. Where's my hat?
George, dear.
Hat!
I thought you put it down here.
Hat!
I'm sure a bowler hat can simply disappear.
Think they'll find a nanny who
There it is.
He's brushed it with boot polish.
Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, all your domain.
Whilst I remain the sovereign, I shall be home at 6 o'clock sharp.
You remain the sovereign.
Mind you use your day well.
he remains the sovereign
Of cherry tree
Good morning.
Yes?
I've come in answer to the advertisement.
What advertisement? We haven't placed any advertisement. Not yet.
George and Winifred Banks live here, do they not?
Mr. and Mrs. Banks live here, yes.
And you are looking for a nanny.
Well, I suppose.
Very well then. Now let's see. Play games, all sorts, which I most certainly can. Take us on outings, give us treats.
Michael, it's our advertisement.
Rosy cheeks and fairly pretty. There's no objection on that score, I hope.
None at all.
I'm glad to hear it.
But, take it up with Mrs. Banks. She manages all that side of things. Nothing domestic has anything to do with me. Oh, and don't forget the references.
I make it a rule to never give references.
But I thought it was usual.
A very old-fashioned idea to my mind. The best people never require them now.
Oh, I see. You will have every third Thursday evening off from 5 until 9.
The best people give every second Wednesday from 6 till 8, ma'am. And that is what I shall take.
Yes, of course. It's all settled then.
As long as I am satisfied. I'll see the children now, thank you.
Of course. You'll find them
very nice
that's not
children.
right. Oh, Michael, stop it. That's so fair. I don't see.
Mary Poppins. Jane, don't stare. And Michael, we are not a codfish. Best foot forward. Spit spot.
Mrs. Brill, we have a new nanny.
She passed her interview then. Or I did. Tidy. Tidier than I was expecting. Who's responsible for that?
Mrs. Brill, I am. I like to keep things neat.
Do you indeed? Well, I look forward to making use of that. If there's one thing I appreciate, it's a child whose word I can depend on. Who's he when he's at home?
That's Valentine. He's mine.
From the look on his face, I'm not sure he'd agree with you.
He's just a doll, and I don't want to play with him right now.
Treat him like that, and he might not want to play with you. Now, first things first. I always say the proper place to hang a hat is on a hat stand.
Oh, what? an eye on this one. She's tricky. Mary Poppins, how could you know what we wanted in a nanny when we made our list?
Your list? I'm not an item in the weekly shop, thank you very much.
What? It was as if the wind just blew you here.
It did. Now stand over there. Just as I thought. A noisy, mischievous, troublesome little boy.
You're making that up! A noisy, mysterious...
Now you. Thoughtless, short-tempered, and untied.
I don't believe you! Let me see!
By the time the wind is blown, the weather vane around, I'll show you if I can. No matter what the circumstance, for one thing I'm renowned. My character is spit, spot, spick, and span.
What about your measurement, Mary Poppins?
I'm practically perfect in every way.
Practically perfect.
So people say, each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great and patently sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to show. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Ah, lovely. Both prim and proper, and never too stern. Well educated, yet willing to learn. I'm clean and honest, my manner refined, and I wear shoes of the sensible kind. I suffer no nonsense, and whilst I remain, there's nothing else I feel I need explain. I'm practically perfect in every way. Practically perfect, that's my forte. Uncanny nannies are hard to find. Unique yet meek, unspeakably kind. I'm practically perfect, not slightly soiled. Running like an engine that's just been freshly oiled. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Well, those are my credentials. Perhaps you have a few questions?
Not temperamental.
Never.
Not grouchy or gruff.
Oh, the very thought.
Will you stay tender when the going gets tough?
Quite the contrary.
Do you read stories without a big fuss? Or have objections to playing with us?
Oh, I like games, but I choose them.
But that's not fair!
Some minor improvements may not go amiss, but at all times you must remember this.
You're practically perfect in every way.
I guarantee.
Practically perfect. We hope you'll stay.
Flies on me. Each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great
And patently sound.
patently sound. Spit spot. Jane Doll's house, please. I'll take my telescope, thank you. I'm practically perfect, and here's my aim. By the time I leave here, you both will be the same. You'll be practically perfect.
Practically perfect. You will be practically perfect in every way.
Best foot forward. Split spot.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. I does what I likes, and I likes what I do. Today I'm a screever, and as you can see, a screever's an artist of highest degree. And it's all me own work, from me own memory.
Oh, Lummy, not these again.
Come on, Mr. Parkkeeper, it's just me drawing, there's no harm in it.
I'll be the judge of that. This is my park and I say you're interfering with public railing. I want to remove this. That is, you watch it. That's all. You just watch it.
Stay right where you are. I know me that silhouette anywhere. Mary Poppins!
It's nice to see you, Bert.
Well, I must say you do look swell.
How does he know you? He can't know you. You've only just arrived.
I wasn't born 1 minute before I walked into your house, Michael Banks. Have you met these two, Bert?
Oh, I've seen them two running about chasing a kite.
It isn't a real kite.
So, what are you up to?
Mary Poppins says it's a game. It's called A Walk in the Park. Some game. I'd rather eat spinach.
Come on, Bert. You're due for a break and you'd promised you'd take me out when we met again. Or have you forgotten?
No! Of course not, Mary.
Oh dear. Is that all you've got? Never mind. My treat. And no one's charging for the trees in the skies, are they?
Mary Poppins, is he really coming with us?
Why shouldn't he?
Well, to start with, he's very dirty, isn't he? Father would never approve.
What's that?
You can't come with us. You're too dirty.
Dirty?
And we don't want to go to the stinky park anyway.
Oh, yes, you do. Because when you take a walk in the park with Mary Poppins, you go places you've never dreamed of. And if she says it's a game, well, then she's got something in mind. You can be sure of it.
That's a picture of the park, isn't it? That's not the park. Not our park anyway. Look, the trees are much brighter green, and the sky's quite a different blue.
Oh, I think you'll find it's just the way I've drawn it. All it takes is a spark, and something as plain as a park becomes a wonderland. All you have to do is look on you, then you'll understand why it's a jolly old day with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light.
Oh, really?
When the day is grey and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright.
You do talk nonsense,
Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the dove.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're
When
talking
Mary
about.
holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
You've enough brass for all of us.
Oh, it's a jolly old day with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. Come on, you two.
Boring, just like other nannies thinking parks are good for us. It's just statues, dogs, and grannies. I don't understand Who are you? I'm Nelius. Surely you know that. You've sat beneath me often enough. I've waited half a century to take a walk on a sunny day like this. Come on, let's go.
A glorious day, right as a morning in May.
I feel like I could fly. Have you ever seen the grass so green or a bluer sky?
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Better days I've never known.
You can ask the passing statuary.
Nothing's ever set in stone.
Morning, Mary.
Morning, Constable.
You do look tip-top if I may say so.
Thank you, Bert. And you may.
Each man out with his dog will stand agog to see a statue take a gentle jog. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love.
It's a jolly holiday with you, Bert. Gentlemen like you are few. There you're just a diamond in the rough, Bert. Underneath your blood is blue. You never think of pressing your advantage. Forbearance is the hallmark of your creed. A lady needn't fear when you are near. Your sweet gentility is crystal clear. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with you, Bert. A jolly, jolly holiday with you.
Jaunty salter, we are bound to make a mark. Looks like all of us were born to take a promenade in the park. Like a big brass band.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. No wonder that it's Mary that we
Poppins, of course.
How do you know Mary Poppins?
She's an old friend and my father.
Your father? But you're a statue. You can't have a father.
Well, if that's true, then why do I miss him so much?
Isn't he one of the other statues?
No, he lives far away from here.
Do you really miss him?
Wouldn't you miss your father if you hardly ever saw him?
I'd have to think about that.
That's what it was. The plinths have empty. The statue's gone.
Do you mean you've lost your marbles?
Oh, this is your fault, ain't it? I knew ever since you first arrived we'd have trouble. Now we've got a statue missing. What? Oh, lummy.
Will you ever play with us again?
Of course I will. I'm not going anywhere.
Then we'll see you soon. Goodbye, Nelius.
Goodbye.
Mary Poppins, do you think Nelius's father could ever come stay with us?
Anything can happen if you let it.
How long will you stay?
We'll see.
You're not going to leave us, are you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay until the wind changes. Now run along in.
Well, good night, Michael. Good night, Jane. Good night, Mary.
Good night, Bert. Jane and Michael want to say goodnight.
Tell them you've given me the message.
George, please.
Oh, Daddy, we've had the most fantastic day. We sang with the busker, we danced with the statue, and we even met Queen Victoria. Oh, you wouldn't have approved, but it
If
was...
you know that, why did you do it?
Daddy, could I have a kite? A proper one?
Could you fly it?
Well, you could always teach me.
When exactly would I have the time to do that?
Daddy, who is the father of Nelius?
Would you please let me get on? Good night.
Poor Michael. All he cares about is flying kites and his beloved astronomy, of course.
I used to love astronomy at his age. My nanny, Miss Andrew, beat it out of me.
I suppose we really do need a nanny, George. It's out of the question to do without one.
Oh, don't be absurd. Of course we need a nanny. All the best people have nannies. So the wives can do charity work and entertain. Which reminds me, how is your tea party coming on?
I'm not sure. It seems so odd to send out invitations to people I hardly know.
Ah, but the people you should know. Remember, by your friends shall you be
But
judged.
that's the point. They're not my friends. Actually, I heard from Clammy Bunting today. She's rehearsing a new play at the moment, and I thought I might ask
How
her...
many times must I tell you? I wish for you to sever all connections with that part of your life.
George, I was an actress. Lots of people might find that interesting. You always talk as though I should be ashamed of it.
Well, it's not exactly something to be proud of. Winifred, dearest, I'm just thinking of you. I want people to admire you, to respect you.
I know, George, but sometimes it's hard.
It's not hard. It's your job to be Mrs. Banks.
And what is your job?
To pay for everything. What is it?
He's only going to kiss you.
Oh. All right. Are you going to say something to Mary Poppins about this afternoon?
I don't think so.
Very well. But just make sure she's doing things our way and not hers. What good are rules if you can bend them? We need a nanny who is disciplined and stern. With boys and girls, you don't befriend them. I fear that Mary Poppins has a lot to learn.
an easy road, and yet it's one which I don't seem too good at on the whole. I have a comfy home, I have a simple life, I have a name which tells the world I'm someone else's wife. Being Mrs. Banks, what does that entail? Facing test of character, I always seem to fail. And as for his best people, well, I'd like to say no thanks. They're not exactly my idea of being Mrs. Banks.
I still feel as if I'm dreaming. So much fun in just one day. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. I'm sure Neely is as beaming. Let's hope she will stay. Good night, Nelis.
Let's hope she
will
Precision and order.
Winds do change, tides can turn, sink or swim, see what you learn. Me, I was told when I was small, just learn a trade. So I learned them all. Chim chimani, chim chim, chiri chim chum.
Morning, Bert. Swabbing the decks today, I see.
Gotta keep the streets ship shape, Admiral.
Tell me, how are things aboard number 17? All smooth sailing with Mary Poppins, I hope.
Well, there's some rough weather on every voyage, Admiral.
Miss Slack. What those children need is a touch of the cat and a night on the yachtum.
What those children need, Admiral, is a touch of happiness. Oh, will it be?
Mrs. Brill, don't make the sandwiches too early. They'll get stale before the gifts arrive.
Everything is under control, ma'am.
What about the cake?
Cooling on the tray, waiting to be iced.
And you're quite sure you know how to ice it?
Quite sure. And in case you're worried, I have not been exchanged by fairies for a total nincompoop.
No.
No?
Well, I'll just go and check the drawing room then.
I would like to be helpful.
I'd like to be rich. But the good Lord thought otherwise.
Mother wants you in the drawing room.
Well, she can't have me. I've got enough on my plate as it is.
Well, she says you can tell Roberts and I what to do.
Does she indeed? Well, why don't I go and have a smoke near the gasworks for good measure?
Please, Mrs. Brill. I don't mind, honest.
All right. I will give you one task, and one task only. And so help me, if you get this wrong, I'll swing for you and sing as they pull the lever.
What is it, Mrs. Brill?
Put the icing tools next to the cake, and I will need a bowl of hot water to warm them. I will make the icing as soon as I am back.
Icing tools, cake, hot water. I will make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Now, do you think you can manage that?
Is that all?
For you, yes. For me, no. Once this cake's finished, I have the sandwiches next, because Madam wants them fresh, so I can't start them until there's no time to finish them. Michael! I swear, a slave in ancient Rome is on a pleasure cruise compared to my life in this house.
Well, don't just stand there, Roberts and I.
Right. Now,
What are you looking for?
a bowl for the water.
Michael, what the icing?
Because we don't know how.
Don't be so feeble and get me the eggs. Are there even eggs in icing? Well, there are in mine.
I don't think Mrs. Brill will thank you.
Then she would be guilty of great ingratitude. Is that supposed to look like that?
It doesn't look like that when Mrs. Brill does it.
Oh, don't be impertinent and get me the cake.
Honestly, Miss Jane, I was only trying to be helpful. If you would... Yeah!
Mrs. Brill, go up and get ready now. What have you done? Roberts and I have usually call a doctor.
I don't think that will be necessary, ma'am.
How can you be so unkind when you know just how important my party is? Oh, you just have some very nasty medicine. Just you wait till bedtime.
I don't think we should wait until then, ma'am. Why not go up and get changed? We'll clear up, won't we?
But we're not ill, and I won't take it because you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things, your information is faulty. Open.
But why? It's strawberry ice.
Now you.
I'm not sure I like strawberry ice.
I'm not sure I care. Open.
It's lime cordial.
Now off we go, you two. Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane.
I told you she's tricky. But can't Roberts and I do it when he wakes up?
With that attitude, you'll get through a lot of staff before you're very old. Besides, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The jobs are gay. And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake. Like a spree, it's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. Oh, my point exactly. The honeybees that fetch the nectar from the flowers to the comb never tire of buzzing to and through, because they take a little lick from every flower that they sip, and hence they find
the task is not a grind.
For a spoonful of sugar
helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way.
Cups on saucers, please. Spitzport. Is that how you usually do it, Michael? Rum punch, my favorite.
Mary Poppins, you're a miracle worker. How did you get them to do it?
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine?
Go down. Medicine
Go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down
in a most delightful way.
So, just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine go down.
Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
delightful way.
In the most delightful way.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
In a most delightful way.
In the most delightful way.
We'll be off now, ma'am. Come along, children.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Apparently these came today and Roberts and I forgot to give them to you. They're apologies, ma'am, from your guests. They're not coming, none of them.
Oh, do you think we chose the wrong date?
No, ma'am. I think you asked the wrong people.
In a most delightful way.
Mary Poppins, where are we going today?
I thought we could play our next game.
What game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree? If he did, you must have put that idea into his head somehow.
What an impertinent thing to say. Me putting ideas into other people's heads. Really?
Great men have dreams of power and position, and it's our job to back them to the hilt. For shrewd investment and advice, they pay our price, the bedrock on which banks are built. Banks, a word. I see Avon Hustler is coming in again today. Have you made your decision?
Yes, I believe I have.
Good, good. Make sure it's the right one.
Transaction, credit or debt. Sheets are well balanced, targets are met. Met.
Herr Banks, what objections could you have? My securities are more than adequate, and Latin America is an expanding market. What is the matter? Have you no courage?
But Mr. Von Hustler, what I can't seem to grasp is, what exactly is your final product?
What do you think? Money, of course.
Oh yes, money, but making money out of money, is that enough?
Are you man enough to be a banker? A man has dreams of building an empire to make his name in many distant lands. And in the new world, I am told, we'll soon strike gold. Let's seize that chance with both our hands. Assessing the market, limit the risk,
Leave the room for error. Business is brisk.
Have you come to a decision, Mr. Banks? There's a town of good people whose future depends on you.
I know that.
Give us this chance. The factory could be up and running in weeks and expanding before the year's out. Please, Mr. Banks. I'd give it everything I've got, believe me.
I do believe you, Mr. Northbrook, and I've tried to find a way, but there's just not the collateral.
What about my workforce? Decent men who want a better life. They're my collateral. My men have dreams to earn an honest living. a wife and kids, a home to call their own. If you'd invest in us today, it paves the way. I promise we'd repay the loan.
Look, I'm sorry, Mr. Northbrook.
Oh, hello, Daddy!
What on earth are you doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
No, we're done. No man should be too busy for his own children. What have you come here for, young man? Are you here for some money as well?
Hardly. What would they need money for?
Well, it's never too early to learn its value.
I know the value of this. 6 pence.
No, that's its worth. Its value is in how you spend it. Do good. And may you have good luck.
And what do you say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you.
I'll wait outside.
Now really, Mary Poppins, I am not without a sense of humor,
Aren't
but...
you, Daddy?
No, I am not. But when I was a boy, I would have never dared interrupt my father.
Were you ever a little boy?
Of course I was. But my nanny, Miss Andrews, kept me out of my father's way, and he'd have been very annoyed if she hadn't.
What about your mother?
I shouldn't think I saw either of them more than once a week.
Didn't they mind?
Mind? They were glad to be rid of me.
Then who kissed you goodnight? Miss Andrews?
Oh, certainly not. There was no time for hugs and kisses and all that soppy nonsense. What's the matter?
Poor Daddy.
Poor? What do you mean, poor? That's what made me the man I am. I'm Mary Poppins.
Yes. I'm afraid it did.
That's enough. You've seen where I work, and I have a great deal to do.
Daddy? When you invest in the bank's money, what are you looking for? A good man or a good idea?
I suppose I should say a good idea, but a good man is much rarer and much more valuable.
Come along, children.
Mr. von Hassler, I've considered your arguments, but I'm afraid my answer is no.
So you don't recognize a good idea when you see one?
Perhaps not, but I recognize a good man when I see one.
You will regret this, Herr Banks. You will regret this!
A man with dreams that life isn't broken. A man with hopes, ambitions to fulfill. A man you're certain at first glance deserves a chance. Now, Mr. Northbrook, when exactly could this factory open?
Thank you, sir. You won't regret it.
She's not in the least horrible.
Well, she's just a bundle of rags.
I know you learn to look past what you see. Each day, 2 steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman goes in her own special way to the people she calls. Come, buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care. a matter of opinion. Here, one bag, please. Save your sixpence. All around the cathedral, the saints and the apostles look down as she sells her wares. Although you can't see them, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that he cares. Though her words are simple and few, listen, listen, she's calling to you. Eat the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
All gone.
Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
Right, sure. No, I'm not. She's right here. You can tell her yourself.
Isn't that Miss Lark's dog, Willoughby?
Don't interrupt when someone's barking. You were saying? Really? Well, if she keeps wandering off, perhaps it would be best to keep her on a lead. Oh, Willoughby! Oh, look. Here she comes now. Oh, my darling! It's all right, my baby! Oh, come here. You know, sometimes you really think you could talk.
Willoughby! Willoughby! Oh! Oh.
Bert,
Huh?
can Willoughby really talk?
Oh, of course he can talk. Getting to stop is the problem.
How do you learn to talk, dog?
How do you think? Master the grammar
Practice when you can.
and avoid mongrels.
Far too much slang.
Now, I can't stand here all day talking shop.
Talking shop? What a silly expression.
There's nothing silly about it in the least.
What do you buy in a talking shop?
Conversations, of course.
Well, I've never seen a talking shop.
Well, there is only one. It belongs to Mrs. Corey.
Who's Mrs. Corey?
Who's Mrs. Corey? Mrs. Corey is older than anyone in the world. She was here before William went conquering, before Vlad went impaling, and before Alexander weren't so great.
We'll have to call it her shop in the park.
There's no shop in the park.
Remember, anything can happen if you let it.
Congratulations.
Good day to you, Mrs. Corey.
Well, isn't Mary Poppins with Jane and Michael Banks?
She knows us?
And how is poor little Georgie?
Georgie?
Georgie Banks, your father, used to give his nanny the slip and come into my shop here in secret.
But it can't have been the same George Banks. That would have been over 40 years ago, and nobody can remember back that far.
Listen, dearie, I remember everything. I remember Georgie used to love my gingerbread. I wonder if we've got any left today. Annie, Fanny, look lively.
Yes, Mother.
There you are. Gingerbread pieces with gingerbread stars. George used to always save his stars. Now, Mary Poppins, what can I do for you today?
Well, I did want an ounce of conversations.
I'm out of conversations. And I'm right out of words, too. You see, I've had a lot of chatterboxes in here today. But let me see what we've left. Oh! I do have some letters and a little bit of back chat. An ounce, you say? That'll be 15 letters. Go on, take your pick.
Jane, you choose 7.
I've got D, G, R, U, C, L, and I. They're no good.
Your turn, Michael. 7 more.
F as a T and P.
And I'll choose N. X. Now, what words can we make?
Dog and cat.
Rotoplex, that's 9.
Laptiferous. That's 11. Nearly there.
But those don't count. You made them up.
And where do you think words came from in the first place? Somebody had to make them up.
You know, we can always use the same letters more than once. Now, let me see. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That's not a word.
Of course it's a word. And unless I'm very much mistaken, I think it's going to prove a rather useful. When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to leaf through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation keen. You need to find a way to say precisely what they mean. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Diddle 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 I, diddle 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 I, diddle
It can mean exactly what you want it to. When Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
Though if they heard this word, they might have used it once or twice.
I'm sure Egyptian pharaohs would have grasped it in a jiff. Then every single pyramid would bear this hieroglyph. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Say it and wild animals will not seem so ferocious. Had some further flourishes, it's stereo-co-co-co-cious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle 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 I, diddle 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 I, diddle 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 I, diddle 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 I.
The Druids may have carved it on their mighty monoliths.
The ancient Greeks, I'm certain, would have used it in their myths. I'm sure the Roman Empire only entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never had a word like this.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
If you say it softly, the effect can be noxious.
Check your breath before you speak in case it's alidocious.
Yeah! Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle 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 I, diddle 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 I, diddle 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 I, diddle 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 I.
You know, you can say it backwards, which is so good a lie, silica gonna creepus.
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has caught your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just sum it up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants, add 16 vowels as well, and put them in order, which is very hard to spell.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
O-C-I-O-U-S.
Smarty pants.
S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F. R-A-G-I-L. I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D. S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F. R-A-G-I-L. I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D. O-C-I-O-U-S. S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F. R-A-G-I-L. I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D. O-C-I-O-U-S.
Here we go!
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. 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 S-U-P-E-R-T-I-O-R-I-G-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-C-I-O-U-S. Here we go. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it's loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. The winds may blow, but who's to know exactly what they're bringing? Good news or bad, happy or sad, the pendulum keeps swinging.
Right. Put those steps there and stand back. You are not to go near that vase, nor no one else, but me neither. That is an heirloom.
Heirloom.
While I do this, stay totally immobile.
Immobile.
Do not move a muscle.
Muscle.
Do not breathe. Do you hear me?
I might as well be dead.
Oh, don't give me ideas.
A game is played, a change is made, but still the road is long. And though they might yet fly a kite, sometimes the wind's too strong.
George, what's happened? Are you ill?
No. Should I be?
No, of course not. Only why on earth are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No, everything's all wrong.
My dear, what is it?
If you must know, I refused some German chap a loan. It seems he went to our chief competitors. They gave him the money, and now it's turned into a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get it right every time.
Can't they? That's exactly what they expect.
Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud
That is
enough,
more than loud enough. Go to your room.
But we were just
I don't care what you adjust. Upstairs, now. Where's my briefcase? I thought I left it somewhere. Michael? Jane? Will you give it to me? Must I put up with this? You're their mother. Why can't you do something?
Well, I can try not shout and force it.
Mary Poppins, you are here to teach the children manners, and just look at them. They're a pair of little savages. If I had my way, you'd be out of this.
George, you are tired. Mary Poppins, please don't bring the children downstairs tonight. Mr. Banks is quite exhausted. Perhaps you could keep them occupied.
I hope you haven't forgotten, ma'am. Tonight's my evening out.
What? Oh, dear. I suppose I have forgotten. I suppose the best people wouldn't ask you to change your plans.
No, ma'am. They wouldn't.
I thought not.
That's not fair. Daddy loses his temper and we have to go up in the nursery. Daddy's mean and rotten and I hate him.
Jane, take that back this instant. I will not have you criticize your father.
Why not? He criticizes you. Last week he said you're neither use nor ornament.
How dare you!
I heard him say it and so did you.
Sometimes people say things they don't mean. Take the children upstairs, please, Mary Poppins. George,
What is it now?
I thought you might like to talk about it.
What would be the point?
Perhaps I can help.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm serious, George. If you have troubles, I'd like to share them.
Oh, don't worry. You will. The fact of the matter is, I've been dismissed without pay until they decide what to do with me.
Twists and turns, ups and downs. One moment smiles, next moment frowns. But bad-tempered faces better change quick, for if the wind changes, the face might just stick. Chim chimani, chim chim, chiree, chim charoo.
It's not fair. You're going out and we get left on our own.
You've plenty of toys to play with.
I don't want to. They're boring.
They might say the same about you.
Why does Daddy get so cross? Fathers are supposed to look after their children, not yell at them all the time.
Have you asked yourself who looks after the fathers when things go wrong?
Well, the mothers, I suppose.
Not the children?
Wouldn't that be rather upside down?
Sometimes families are upside down. For a while, anyway.
I don't want to be in an upside-down family. I wish I could just run away. Why don't you? Someone might adopt you. But you'd miss me. No, I wouldn't. I could have all of your toys. No, you could not. Yes, I could, and I jolly well would. Give that to me! Oh, my... Now look at what you've done.
That's no way to treat Valentine. What's he ever done to you?
It's a doll, silly. It can't do anything.
That's it, you two. Now into bed at once.
But we haven't had our milk.
There'll be no buts and no milk either. If you can't be good, you might as well be sorry.
I wish you'd just leave us alone.
Poor Valentine. Go inside and make yourself presentable.
Well, I'm not tired, so you can't make me go to bed.
In that, as in so many things,
your information
is faulty. Playing the game, taking your turn. Some children lose, some children learn. Treat the toys nicely and maybe they'll treat you the same. Playing the game. Are you feeling any better, Valentine?
Much better. Thank you.
Tempers are frayed, tempers are lost. Nobody stops to think of the cost.
But they tore my arm again.
Oh dear. Children who lose their temper will lose everything else in the end.
They're not playing the game, not playing fair. Not with the doll, not with the bear. Thrown on the floor and neglected, and they were to blame. Playing the game. Please, tell them, Mary Poppins.
Why don't you tell them?
What's going on? What happened to the toys? Make them get small and get back in the box.
Why? You've hurt them and called them names. Now it's their turn. Some in the toy laughing upon. Those who won't play shan't play at all.
Will we meet?
Maybe when they learn to play the game. Is that you, Pat?
Up where the smoke is all billowed and curled, 'tween pavement and stars is a chimney sweep's world. Where there's hardly no day, no hardly no night. There's things half in shadow and halfways in light. On the rooftops of London. Coo, what a sight!
Oh, so you're asleep now, are you?
Well, it's the best view in the world, Mary. And who gets to see it? The birds, the stars, and the sweeps. Nothing to beat, eh? Now as the ladder of life has been strung, you may think a sweep's on the bottommost rung. Though I spends me time in the ashes and smoke, in this all wide world there's no happy old bloke. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo.
Good luck we'll rub off when he shakes hands with you.
Or blow me a kiss.
Bert!
And that's lucky too. You're going then?
The wind's changed.
But they're good kids, Mary.
Would I be bothering with them if they weren't? But I can't help them if they won't let me, and there's no one so hard to teach than a child who knows everything.
So?
So, they've got to do the next bit on their own.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. When you're with a sweep, you're in glad company.
Goodbye, Bert.
Chim chim, chim chim chiree. When you're with a sweep, you're in glad company. Nowhere is there a more happy your crew than what sings chim 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 chiree chim charoo. Chim chimney, chim chim chiree chim cha.
Cheerio, Bert! Keep an eye on them for me!
She can't have left us. Oh, yes, she can, and she's taken all of our toys. What does the note say?
What in the name of heaven are you two doing out here? Where's Mary Poppins?
Gone.
Gone? Well, if that'll take the bloomin' biscuit.
Mrs. Brill, what does au revoir mean?
Why?
Because she's written it in this note. Dear Jane and Michael, keep playing the game. Au revoir, Mary Poppins.
Well, it's French, I know that. Does it mean God bless you? No. Or is it good luck? No. I remember now. Till we meet again. Now come inside before you catch your death.